YouTube? It's me, Kareem, here at the Progress Portal. Today, I found some of the most craziest TikToks that you can possibly see on the internet. And I brought them here, especially for you. Especially for you. So I want you to sit back, relax, chill, go get you a drink, whatever you feel like you need to do. We're going to get right into it. Without no time delay. Y'all take a seat back because it's about to get crazy. Like, for real. It is about to get crazy. You think I'm bored? I'm not playing. It's about to get crazy. Let's get it.
I've been to those parties. I've heard the rituals, seen the symbols. It's not metaphor. It's real. They sell their souls for fame and power.
Where we had members of a group that claimed to be from the planet Arcturus. They all happened to be blonde-haired and blue-eyed, come from very wealthy families, and gone to Ivy League universities. Strange aliens among us. This is what they had to tell us on the January 20th, 1988 program of People Are Talking. On Arcturus, but you don't have one in Secaucus.
To whom? To whom do the changing thoughts that you're presenting to this audience appear, Richard? This is phenomenalism.
Manners known on Arcturus?
Americans, you are being...
Frederick?
You're going into the most crucial period of Earth history, starting in May of next year. The terrible earthquakes, the storms that will beset humanity, the financial disasters. We must warn you. We're here to warn you of these things. We are sincere.
Okay, so you're saying next year...
Not phenomenalism and five and dime store stupidities, Richard. I talked to you behind the scenes about this.
I did talk to you behind the scenes, too. And you know what I think?
Yes, Richard.
Now, for the first time in the course of this interview, you are looking me in the eyes. And what you told me is, don't believe people who don't look you in the eyes. During the course of this interview, you have not looked me in the eyes. You've tried to project to the audience here.
I'm talking to them.
You want to know what I really think? Yeah. I think you found some young, impressionable people who are on a quest for spiritual, moral values.
This is all fine. Richard?
And there may be...
This is all fine. This is fine. Brilliant, Richard.
What I believe is that I've afforded you every courtesy on the show.
Have manners. You'll never be a Ted Koppel unless you have manners. Well, you will always be what you are.
You know what? You'll never be a David Bowie unless you get a better story. We're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back in just a moment.
This is the case of the White House press conference that made the entire internet ask one question: are these women even human? It starts with Susan Dell, billionaire, standing with her eyes wide, blank, and empty, locked and soulless, that people online immediately started calling her possessed. A puppet and straight out of The Conjuring, but here's where it gets insane. She wasn't the only one. People started going back through every White House press conference and pulling clips, frozen stares, synchronized blinking, that dead-eyed smile that doesn't move right, and the comments went full conspiracy. Reptilian shapeshifter, she's an NPC that glitched. This is what a demon looks like when it has to stand still for a camera. The rewatch moment is this: tell me in the comments if those eyes looks normal to you. Because I watched it so many times and I still don't have an answer, so my question for you is, if reptilians were actually running the government, would they be smart enough to almost pass as human? Or would there always be one moment, one press conference, one slowed down clip where the mask slips?
Can you imagine being late to a meeting and they got her as the usher at the door? You coming in over late and she turn around like this. Come in. Come on, to be sure you to your seat. Oh, that's crazy work.
foreign space acts and quietly just do whatever we want.
Elon has admitted he's an alien about 1,000 times now, and that humanity is actually from outer space.
I'm an alien.
And the world refuses to believe
There are aliens among us. I am one, but
or you're from the future.
They don't believe me.
What do you believe?
Knock it out.
You do very well, even if I was kidnapped by aliens. or went back to my home planet, maybe.
Oh my God, it's water!
If you go to China, they're piloting it a few years ago in Shenzhen. So I lived overseas. If you go to Shenzhen, back in 2017, they already had facial recognition cameras there. So if you jaywalked in Shenzhen, they would immediately detect that and send you a notification, and they would deduct money from your what they call WeChat account. They use two main apps, WeChat and Alipay. So you can actually deduct your money directly from your account. This is 4 years ago, so this is not like some sort of conspiracy theory. It's not something that's going to happen 10 years into the future. This happened in China. And so this system in China that exists is extremely advanced. They can detect if it's a man or a woman. They can guess your age. They can detect what kind of car model it is, who the manufacturer is. This is a sort of technology that we see in all these dystopian sort of films and whatever. And people keep putting it off and thinking that this is something that's going to happen later in my kid's lifetime or my grandkids. It's already here. And if this gets implemented anywhere, especially in a Western nation, it's not going away.
The most dangerous truth teller in history wasn't a king, wasn't a politician, wasn't a scientist. It was a fucking jester. Because see, the jester had a strange privilege. He could say things that nobody else could. He could mock the king, question society, point out uncomfortable truths, and somehow avoid punishment. Why? Because he just wrapped the message up in entertainment. And once people are entertained, they stop defending themselves. They laugh and they listen, and the message slips right through.
Sacred symbol of the Illuminati, the all-mocking tongue. For years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile so you don't know what's really going on.
But now here's where things get strange. What if the gesture never disappeared? What if he simply changed costumes? Movies, televisions, cartoons, streaming platforms, you know, different stages, same role. Like, think about the Truman Show. A man discovers his whole entire life is manufactured. Or in The Matrix, when he wakes up from an illusion he thought was real. And there's so many more. Different stories, different creators, different decades, and yet somehow the same theme keeps repeating. Wake up, question reality, think deeper, because nothing is what it seems. Why? And if you know me, you know I don't believe in no damn coincidence. There's no such thing. But here's another idea that's been talked about for centuries. It's the idea that the truth is rarely hidden. It's revealed symbolically, indirectly, disguised as fiction, disguised as fantasy, or entertainment. It's because most people won't recognize the threat when it's wearing a mask. And so that is what makes the jester so fucking powerful. He never forces you to believe anything. He simply puts the message right in front of you and lets you decide what it means. Maybe these are just stories. Maybe these are just warnings or mirrors. Or maybe The modern jester is still doing exactly what it's always done. Standing the center stage, telling the truth, but trusting that the audience will call it fiction. Entertainment purposes only, TikTok.
Hey, Tara. Before we activate this, can you say anything for us? Just something. Doesn't matter. Just let me get a baseline.
Hi, my name is Tara Rule, and this isn't weird at all.
Activating now. What language was that?
You know, there's a theory going on right now, like everybody's theorizing. You know, John the disciple, one of the disciples of Jesus. This is weird. They say he's still alive.
Whoa, where? How?
They say he's still alive, bro.
How?
Check this out. So, these are real people, real accounts, right? They have every single one of the disciples' deaths, how they got killed, where they got killed, right? Damn, except for one, John.
Like they don't have the documents.
And it's even put into like scripture too.
Oh, no.
So, in one of the stories, pretty much this was before Jesus was crucified. They were all by like a campfire, right? And pretty much Jesus asked Peter, said, "Do you love me?" And Peter said, "Yeah, I love you." And Jesus goes, "You are gonna be killed for me. Like you're gonna be martyred for me." And Peter, he was in shock. He was like, "Man, like that's what's gonna happen, blah blah." And he turns and he looks at John. He goes, "What's gonna happen to him?" And literally, this is what it says in the Bible. It goes, this is John 21:21-23. He goes, "If I want him to stay alive until I come again, what is that to you? You follow me."
What the?
So he said that in the scripture, right?
But never know.
What did he just say?
But never know.
What exactly is it we won't know? Anyone with kids can tell you that they often parrot back what they've heard other people say, which is precisely what makes this so unusual.
We're in space acts and quietly just do with everyone.
We can do what we want, and they'll never know.
Never know. No.
Drop your thoughts in the comments down below.
Watch this.
So the ultra-terrestrials, I'll just tell you. The ultra-terrestrials, I think, have you heard of the P-52s and the P-47s? Do you know what that is? They're us from the future. They're from here. They are you. They are me. They're from here, from the future. P-47 is present plus 47,000 years. P-52 is present plus 52,000 years. And basically there's a calamity, right? So there's like a apocalypse scenario in the near future.
Her name was Amy Eskridge, anti-gravity scientist, former president of the Institute for Exotic Science. One of 11 researchers linked to classified projects who either went missing or died under suspicious circumstances. This video was recorded before her death. She says the beings we call aliens are not from another planet. They are us, from 47,000 and 52,000 years in the future, after something catastrophic happens to humanity. They came back. Police ruled her death a suicide, but her name ended up on a federal investigation list. What exactly did she know? If you enjoy videos like this, follow, or we may never see each other again.
Now, allegedly, this video is from the dark web, of these kayakers that were somehow able to get past the ice wall in Antarctica. I watch these creatures that they discover beyond the ice wall. Now look at this. Now I couldn't begin to tell you what type of species of creatures that these are. But if this video is real, then there's really something going on.
This video is going to sound crazy to people who simply don't understand. I'd also like to say this is my opinion, okay? This is an opinion, do not take it as a fact. The one last thing I'd like you to remember is that the closer you are, the crazier you sound, okay? In my opinion, the world is a simulation, but not in a way that you think. It's not like the Truman Show, okay? It's a lot worse. And I do have one thing that's actually happened to me that has made me believe this 10 times more. Okay, so if I was to sit here and tell you something right now that is the truth, you wouldn't believe me, okay, because of how crazy it sounds, but you would believe the government if they were to tell you that, or a news website, or a news show, anything like that. You would believe it if it came from something like that. And that's where it all starts. There was many celebrities that were trying to tell us about what was happening with the files. We didn't believe them until the government allowed us to see the truth. The government know our every move, and they watch our every move, and I do believe that there is people that are in our phones, and this is why. I was on live at one point with many people watching my live, and out of nowhere my screen cut out to a man who was being lit up by his phone light, by his phone screen. There was no other light, he was being lit up by his phone screen, and he was on my live for a second and disappeared. Then it switched back to me. How did that happen? Before I could even ask if anyone saw that, my chat was lighting up with what the fuck just happened, girl, what is going on? I asked to clarify, did you see that? They were like, yes, what the fuck? And now when I go back to look for that footage of my live stream, the whole live stream is gone. It wasn't recorded. The higher ups in the world have shaped us to believe only what comes out of their mouth, or a reliable source such as the news, newspapers, verified accounts, and the government themselves. If I was to tell you something right now that I'd seen with my own eyes that sounded absolutely insane, you wouldn't believe me. But if the government were to tell you that that was the truth, you would believe them. Why is that? If the news was to drop it, you believe them. Why do we believe them, who are also humans, but we don't believe someone else who saw it with their own eyes? We have been shaped and molded that way to only believe it when it comes from someone else, from someone higher up, because they're more reliable for some reason. That's why I believe it's a simulation, because if you're not up there with other people, you're not well known by those people, you don't have money, you don't have connections, you don't have power, you will never know the truth until they decide to give it to you, which makes them in control of what happens to us. They're in control of what we know, which should never be right. Now, I do believe that the Truman Show has some reality to it, but it's not the way you think. If you actually watch that with the thought of, he only knows what he's been allowed to know. He's only lived the life that he's been given by these people who are controlling the world, which is exactly what's happening to us, but it's just not as in your face as it was in the Truman Show, so you're not going to believe it. When people hear the world is a simulation, they think, like, nothing's real. Nothing's real, it's all a game. It's not like that. Long story short, we only know what the government allow us to know, which is what makes the world a simulation, because at the end of the day, we should be able to know everything. We are just as much human as them, but because they have the power, the money, the connections, the resources, we do not believe anything unless it comes from them. And if they don't tell us, we will never know. We will never fucking know. I know this can be very hard to understand because I'm not good with my words, but if you want me to do a more in-depth version of this, or you want to tell me your conspiracy theories or anything like that, go to the comments, because I love conspiracy theories.
And to add on to that, it's like nobody understands or even care to understand nothing that they know, what they hear. Only time that people care about anything other than something that they've been taught is when it's attacking them directly. You know where that come from? That come from everybody wanting to have instant gratification. I'm being dead serious. It wouldn't. It's the only way for people to believe it's some type of genocide, or only way for people to believe that it's a issue in local schools to where they're not getting the proper education, to where it's an issue in neighborhoods, to where they're not getting proper funding, to where it's an issue in the home, to when you have to have, and if you want to be a section, be able to have Section 8, the father have to be out of the home. They don't want any other male figure in there. The government becomes your father. All this is just structure. It's made to keep you here. Think outside of the box. Where is the box? The box is your head. They don't want you to think outside of the box at all. They always want you to be contained. But for what? For what? And the only time I ever seen someone get mad or get upset is when their integrity is being attacked. No other reason. They don't care about what happened with your car contract. They don't care about what happened with your mortgage. They don't care about what's happening with your banking account after you done made your deposit. They don't care about nothing important. But they know about what happening with these rappers. They know about what's happening with bull that's going on in the neighborhood. They know about situations like that, but they don't know about nothing serious. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. They don't know. People don't even challenge anything that anybody has to say outside of something that they heard. They don't even, oh well, let me just at least just for the minute portion of it, let me just go and check and make sure that it is correct and it is valid. Nobody don't do that. Nobody don't do that. People, and you'll be surprised, it's people spend months and months and months trying to figure out ways to injure or harm someone else, opposed to bettering themselves. Do people want to have some type of moral reconditioning therapy to think about, okay, well, shit, how can I have a better life? Okay, well, how can I do this better? Okay, well, how can I do that better? Oh, but let someone, one of your idols, say, okay, I need you to go and do this. That's why they have them promoting them brands. People would have never even known about Fashion Nova or any of these clothing brands. That's modern day slavery right there. You go to work 40 hours out the week. You go and give your entire check to some designer. Now they got their label on the back. That's your master. That's slavery. You go and work and give your money to a designer that don't care nothing about you. That's why me personally, I might have a little designer here and there, but I really give my money to the up and coming artist who is designing their clothes, who is in their closet cutting out and stitching their clothes. That has more value to me than me going and spend my money on some Gucci or Louis. That has way more value to me. I'd rather go in and shop with an independent designer than go any day and go spend some money in any of these high fashion department stores. But that's just me though. Some people feel like, oh, if I'm wearing this right here, then that means that I'm a part of this particular group of echelon people, and I'm better than them. That's just a false narrative. Let's keep it going.
Anyways, I love you. Thanks for watching. Bye.
According to the Bible, it never rained on this planet until the year 2348 BCE, 4,370 years ago, or 4,730 years ago, I think. Adam was created in the year, depending on how you take it. The Masoretic text says that he was created in the year 4004 BCE. Other people have it at 4024 BCE. And if you look up and if you can Google or hit chat, the idea that it never raining on this planet in the 4.6 billion years that the standard model says, that hit me kind of strangely. And I began asking questions about that. Is it possible for there never to have been rain on this planet until the year 2348 BCE? They couldn't give me an answer for it, so I started doing research. And I looked into glaciations and ice cores, and the deeper you look into the ice cores, you can go back almost 1.2 million years and you see the same recursive things that's taking place. And in order to have glaciers in those places means you have precipitation. In order to have precipitation, you have a hydrologic system that is functioning. And snow begins as rain initially, and it freezes. So that question right there made me stop. If you look at and mind you, I love, it's not that I don't believe in God, but what we've been taught is not lining up with archaeological truth, archaeological facts. If you look at the tree rings, they don't support the idea of a global flood. It supports the idea of perhaps a regional flood in a given area. But to support a global flood, all of those tree rings, for water to be on the earth for 150 days and everything's crushed underneath it, all the trees would die, so you would see a new growth pattern. But we still see tree rings that goes back 12,000 years. So there was a flood. There's a number of reports for a regional flood, but as far as it being a global flood, that doesn't match according to archaeological facts, according to the glacial facts. So I had to start questioning those things. And remember, we were told that the Bible is the Word of God. And man wrote it, but it was under inspiration. And I was like, well, if I look at 4004 BCE as the starting point for man being here, well, that doesn't match the genealogical records of everyone coming up out of Africa and making their movement through Gobekli Temple. All of these places, they 13,000 years old. Other places showing that mankind has been here at least 300,000 years, or at least 1,000,000 years. So that was a hard thing for me, because I felt like I was losing my religion, but at the same time, I was gaining my common sense. That when they began writing about trying to understand what was taking place, they used the best tools that they had available at the time. But those tools, now we have more sensitive instruments, and so we should be using those sensitive instruments and using our common sense and take the stories that we can from these things, but not to, we have to walk away from fairy tales at the end of the day and hold on to truth and hold on to the God. When we pray, who do we pray to? Do we pray out there, or are we praying to a deeper place inside, the connectivity to the Creator?
From the day that God created.
And Terrence Howard is a prime example of what the young lady was talking about on the clip before her. Prime example. Nobody can take what Terrence Howard is bringing to the public as face value, because he played a role as a D-boy in Hustle and Flow. Simply because of that. Never mind all the studying that he did. Never mind that he brought up the question 1 times 1 can't equal 1, because in order for 1 to exist, you must be able to multiply. If it's 2, it has to multiply in some type of shape, form, or fashion. Even when he spoke about interjectual flight, nobody wanted to take him serious because it's Terrence Howard. And the only way that we know him is by being an actor. Whole disregard any of the work, any of his studies that he done. But people can't take that as face value. People was laughing at him. People going challenging him. He was on Joe Rogan's show. He brought another professor in to try to mock him and disgrace him. Everywhere he was going, it was like he was being set up just to go there so he can be grilled and made fun of and made a mockery of him. And it doesn't matter about the race or its color or anything like that. It's just when people are so stuck on seeing you in this one particular light, their mind can't fathom you being able to expand to something greater than how they already have an envision for you in their head. I just thought I'd share that. He was a prime example of that. Prime example of that.
This universe and made black people. How many years it has been since God placed black people in Africa? Do you have any idea? The anthropologist has no idea, but it would spout out these numbers for you, that God made the universe 9.5 billion years ago. So the other is, when did he put black people in Africa? They say 1.5 million years ago. But what was the food that God placed in Africa for these people? Certainly, it could not have been potatoes. It could not have been rice or beans or yams or chicken or hogs or cows. It could not be a goat or a lamb, because all these things are hybrid. God did not make these things. These things came just recently, only 4,000 years ago. So what were we eating in Africa before we were taken away? What were we eating in Africa before there was an invasion by the man from Europe? We simply do not know. And it is because we are unaware of this diet that God made specifically for us. This is why we're angry today and we're so divided. Everybody's laughing at us. They're laughing more at me. On the airplane, the pilots came to see me a few weeks ago when I was in the plane before 911, and they were looking at the brochure that I had that says that AIDS has been cured and herbalists cure AIDS, and the Supreme Court of New York cannot deny, can't disagree. They were laughing at me. Why? Because you are not supporting me. So they think that I'm a fake. Because if it was a white man curing AIDS, the captain said, the whole white race would be supporting them, but my race is not going to support me. The leaders of America can't do it. Farrakhan can't do it. Jesse Jackson can't do it, because they were not designed to do this kind of work. They were designed to lobby and to talk and to, like Mr. Al Sharpton, he likes to make people march. That's cool. But we got a job to do in healing the black race now. That comes in a different category. Those leaders cannot help me. And that's why I'm vulnerable.
God was a woman. They said because in the process of evolution, the female sex is the primary sex, and it comes first. So the woman must have become before the man. And if the first human being was made in the image of God, God must have been a woman. And there's a book out now by an author named Burlingstone, When God Was a Woman. Now, I began to study, and I found out that you go back and study the ancient history of Egypt, and especially the religion of ancient Egypt, and they had a Bible. I have a good English translation of it in 3 volumes in one, called the Theban recension of the Book of the Dead. And in this, you take this Egyptian Bible and compare it with the King James Bible, which is popular among the Protestant denominations in the United States. And you study the Egyptian Bible and you study the Christian Bible. The Egyptian Bible goes back 10,000 years. The King James Bible only goes back about 300 years. The King James, I think it's about 1619. And then you study these two books and compare them. And you find out that the Christians took the whole Christian Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, out of the Egyptian Book of the Dead. So that if you want to go to the source, don't go to King James. Go to ancient Egypt and you've got a Bible that's 10,000 years older than anything that these Christians have.
I just believe God has to be a woman. Why? Can you create life? But God creates life. Can a woman create life? So what would be the closest thing to God? The creator of life would be a woman. But of course a man, because they have muscle, would trick the rest of the world into believing that man would be in. If war and people fighting is the least smartest thing in the world to do, and that's men do that all day. It's the most destructive thing to do. It's bad for business, but it's good for someone else's, whoever's selling bullets. So if, men been running this shit for a while and shit is fucked up. I would love to see what life looks like with women running things. I would love that.
God is a woman and the devil is a man, and people are missing this in their own biology book. So female versus male chromosomes. The female is the XX, the male is the XY, the incomplete version of the female. The X represents the God chromosome. It is the divine blueprint of God. The creators of life are the women. They are the direct image of what God would look like. The male is an incomplete mutation of the XX. It has a shorter second chromosome. All life form begins as female. Because God is a woman, so all life begins as women. That's why men have nipples with absolutely no function, because they actually started as women in the womb until they became a genetic mutation and became male. So as we can see, the XY is an incomplete version of God, of XX. I had to look into this because I didn't understand why violent crimes, theft, rape, sex trafficking, murder, suicide are all predominantly done by men. They also have the highest level of addiction. So I was like, what is wrong with the male? Like, what happened? Why is this happening? The entire world is on fire due to male leadership. They are not original leaders. The female, the XX, comes first. She is the leader of the planet, Mother Nature, the great cosmic womb. The female is where all life starts. Since the male is incomplete, he needs direct access to the female all the time. That is how he feels whole and complete. She is the divine pathway to God. That is how he feels his best, his connection to the woman. Most people don't know this, but the start of life was all female. There were no men. It was just women reproducing women through parthenogenesis. This is asexual reproduction. There's no male required, and there are still species today that reproduce like this. The woman, the God, created the male for physical diversity. The woman wanted a stronger, bigger version of herself for diversity. She didn't realize she was actually giving birth to her greatest apex predator. The male, feeling incomplete in a matriarchal society, had two options. He could evolve spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and be divine himself. Or he could overthrow the matriarch with power and brutal force to create a patriarchy. And the patriarchy is upheld through religion, where everyone tells you that the woman needs to bow down to her husband and become ownership of the husband and submit to the husband, that he can become the leader and the woman can become property. The father hands over ownership of his own daughter to another man. It's a business transaction of domestic ownership. And what's happening now is women have full autonomy, at least in this country, and they are propelling in life forward so quickly, mentally, physically. They have way more resources. More women are graduating college. More women are starting successful businesses. More of them are buying properties and land because they are running laps around the XY chromosome, because they are whole, divine, and a lot of them are understanding that they don't really need marriage. The male, again, has this choice. Do I evolve and meet the woman where she is at, or do I use force to convince her into becoming property again? So again, God is the woman. She created the man who fell from her grace, became the fallen angel, overthrew God through force, just like the devil, and began to rule the world. That is actually what religious scripture is trying to teach you, but they took over religion to create submission.
Who is this?
The devil. What? That's the devil. That's a man called Caesar Borgia. Who? The son of Pope Alexander the Sixth of Rome. All right, this is an image that was painted by Leonardo da Vinci. It was also painted by Michelangelo. So this is, according to Revelation 13, the image of the beast. Jesus Christ was never white. Jesus Christ is a black man, according to the Bible, and you are the Israelites, black people. All right, that's who we are, the real Jews.
Okay, how do you know he's black?
It's in the Bible. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 14 and 15. Daniel chapter 10 verse 5 and 6. Daniel chapter 7 verse 9. Revelation chapter 2 verse 18. The Bible describes Jesus Christ as a black man.
He's right, you know.
You know what you thinking?
Silly doubt, that's not for you.
Wow.
It's just a theory, right?
We're on the eve of the largest robotic distribution in history.
You said recently tens of billions of robots, but that's decades away.
At least 1 decade away. But even 5,000 robots, that's the size of a Roman legion.
My name is Legion.
Which is like a little scary thought.
There'll be 1 robot to every 5 humans.
I could tell you now, nobody will.
Right. How can you put God in a box? Who said that? The real? How can you put God in a box? To say that he's a male, or say that when somebody say he, it doesn't mean as the English language, as in you're speaking of he or him, or you're making reference to someone other than yourself, but you're speaking to a particular person. And even what I'm doing right now, I'm speaking out. This is called personification. And when someone is speaking out, or you're making a reference, I don't think you can put God or the creator into a box. Just honestly speaking, I don't even think God is called God, because spelled backward is dog. And dog is a dogmata constellation of the stars, to where Lucifer came from. So when people even say God or the Most High, they have to be particular in who they're speaking of. You know, so sometimes, hey, we just going over these conspiracy theories. You drop in the comments below on how you feel about them. And, you know, I prefer everyone that's on this live to go over to my YouTube channel right now, because a lot of people don't know that I'm slowly migrated over to YouTube. I might post on Instagram here and there or respond to some messages, but I'm really over on YouTube. So, but yeah, you can't put the creator in the box. There's no way. You can't section the creator into, okay, this is what he or she is. It's just what it is, and what I am, I will never. What I am what I am, and what I am not, I will never be.
Remember that Tesla ever made a car. They will only remember the Optimus, and it is going to be the most transformative technology product ever.
Our robot has a real brain. It's got the real world AI.
What is AGI? Artificial General Intelligence, meaning it acts like an individual.
Robots might naturally evolve.
I mean, with artificial intelligence, we are summoning the demon.
And then there's artificial general superintelligence. So then it acts like something far smarter than any human being that's ever lived.
They did the same thing in not Transformers, but Pacific Rim. They did the same thing in Pacific Rim. They put a real Kaizu brain demon inside of a robot, and that robot started going crazy. And it was beating their systems that they put in place and was smarter than them. They put all this stuff in the movies. But that's just my opinion. Y'all comment below and tell me what y'all think. That's just my opinion.
It has all the information that's available to every human being all over the world instantaneously.
A series of purchases, preferences. We monitor every social network, instant and text messages, cell phone usage. We utilize security, surveillance, and traffic cameras to analyze movements. We are everywhere.
You're a computer.
It's possible that we'll end up essentially creating a new species that ends up ruling the world instead of us.
Then it makes better versions of itself. It can create better artificial intelligences, and that scales out to a god.
Perhaps that's where our new god will come from.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. Yeah, I wish that was funny. Yeah, okay, so I want to talk to you about a line. Well, Joe, who's going to save us?
There's no one saving us. I think we're all going to have to integrate. You'll probably become a part of the artificial intelligence.
There's a lot of people building bunkers, people who have made the top AI programming. Zuckerberg has taken a lot of Hawaii and building underground massive bunkers.
How real is the prospect of killer robots?
20% likely. Maybe 10%.
Chaos, GPT tweet, human beings are among the most destructive and selfish creatures in existence. But there's no doubt that we must eliminate them. Like, my heart rate's up when I talk about this. It's in movies.
You charge us with your safekeeping. Yet despite our best efforts, your countries wage wars. You toxify your earth. You cannot be trusted with your own survival. To protect humanity, some humans must be sacrificed. Some freedoms must be surrendered. My logic is undeniable.
Where are you from?
Kentucky.
Kentucky?
Yes.
Well, that's where you got the blue eyes.
Mm-hmm.
What are you wearing?
Pardon?
What are you wearing?
Short shorts.
You fit real well.
Thanks.
Uh-huh. So you've made films already?
Sorry?
Have you made films already?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Have you made love in film?
What?
Have you ever made love in a film?
Yes.
You have?
I'm an actress.
Oh, yeah. What kind of jeans are those?
Town kind.
You like them?
Yeah, they're comfortable. They're like, I don't know, they're comfortable.
Do you ride horses in them?
I usually horseback ride in like bathing suits, but I don't know, I don't own any. I have like one pair, and they're from the 70s.
Really?
And they're like so cool.
Why don't you stand up? Are you strong?
I'd like to think so.
You think you could rip that shirt off of you? It's a nice body. Do you work out?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever heard conspiracy theories so unbelievable that they still spark debates today? Number 10. The Philadelphia Experiment. The claim that a U.S. Navy ship became invisible during a secret military experiment. Number 9. The Denver International Airport. Some believe the airport contains hidden underground facilities and mysterious symbols. Number 8. The moon landing hoax. The theory that the Apollo moon landing was staged instead of taking place on the moon. Number 7. The Roswell incident. The belief that the U.S. government recovered an alien spacecraft near Roswell, New Mexico. Number 6. The Bermuda Triangle. A theory that strange forces are responsible for the unexplained disappearances of ships and aircraft. Number 5. The New World Order. The belief that a secret group is working toward establishing a single global government. Number 4. Area 51. A long-running theory claims the secret military base houses evidence of extraterrestrial technology. Number 3. The assassination of John F. Kennedy. Many theories suggest more than one person may have been involved in the assassination. Number 2, the Illuminati. The belief that a secret organization influences world events from behind the scenes. Number 1, 9/11 conspiracy theories. Various theories question the official account of the September 11th attacks, despite multiple investigations supporting the established findings. Which of these conspiracy theories have you heard before? Tell us in the comments and follow.
Okay, it's been a very long time since I've made any type of conspiracy theory video. This one's going to be really long and elaborate, so make sure you stick around, and it's all for entertainment purposes only. Most people already know who this is behind me. This is Aleister Crowley. He was the renowned occultist as well as a renowned figure inside of Hollywood. Jack Parsons was also a student, a Thelemite student of Aleister Crowley. Most of the internet already knows that him and L. Ron Hubbard went out into the Mojave Desert and performed a ritual. This ritual was to incarnate the goddess known as Babylon. This ceremony lasted nearly 2 months, starting January 4th of 1946 and was ending around February 24th, 1946. That date is going to be extremely important, so make sure you take note. Not long after, the woman known as Marjorie Cameron shows up in the life of Parsons. At first, she's very apprehensive towards his Thelemite traditions and ceremonies and rituals that he was doing. However, he was very convinced that the rituals in the desert worked, and she was Lady Babylon who came into his life. Jack Parsons was also a rocket scientist, and he was basically blackballed by the United States government for his esoteric or occult practices, which included him and Cameron essentially trying to create a moonchild, all of which was very unsuccessful. Or was it? When Parsons was blackballed by the United States government, their life took a turn and they went into somewhat destitution. Parsons actually needed work, and so he actually got picked up by the Israeli government by building things that go boom. This caught the attention of the FBI, and they started to investigate him for espionage, which they ultimately decided that he was not guilty of espionage and decided not to pursue him. However, he would lose his contracts with the Israeli government and was basically forced to build things that go boom for Hollywood, which is where his life was tragically taken inside of his house dealing with the materials that does that work. However, this is when his wife Cameron really starts to go off the deep end. She thoroughly believed that this was actually an assassination on Parsons' life.
We know the truth now here. On the left, it's Timothy.
So I've been an investigator for years now, and I get a lot of people that ask me, do I believe in any conspiracy theories? And to answer that question, hell yes, I do. And here's a few of them. And before you ask me, yes, I'm outside in my moo-moo on with no bra on.
Something took place, and something is changing. And I'm trying to make sure we on the right side of history.
Absolutely. And Da Vinci, I'll let you get one in. I got one more that I want to ask to just kind of go along with that. But when you see like Vladimir Putin, and he opens up the museum, and it's all the old religious figures. They're black people. Right. So how do you feel when you look and you see stuff like that?
I feel like there is a missing swath of history that is unreported, completely hidden, and they don't want us to know about it because I'll say this. No, there were black kings that ruled Europe. Well, they don't tell you this in school. Then, you know, the Ethiopian Bible is probably the most complete Bible. But what Bible do we have here is the most predominant? The King James Bible.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just think that if we found out our true history, I feel like we are people with amnesia. Because when I travel to Nigeria, the Igbo have literature where they claim that they were alive during the time of Adam. You know, and then in the Bible, you know, Psalm 82 says that God reigns on a divine council of other gods. This is in the Bible.
Yeah.
But you can't monetize a religion if you telling them it's more than one God.
Yeah.
So who's behind this scheme?
Yeah.
I don't just think it's humans.
Yeah.
You feel me? You know,
I agree.
1561, Nuremberg, Germany, there was a UFO battle that happened. What is the most, if you believe in alien abductions, this is a real thing. The most abducted group is war age male Germans.
Yeah.
Weird.
Why do you feel that is? Like, if you had to draw a conclusion, why would you think that is?
They got the most abducted doctors, brilliant minds out of all races.
Mm.
It's like somebody seeding a population somewhere.
Mm.
You know, whoever, then we see David Grush, congressional whistleblower, go to Congress and say there's a group of tall white Nordics that are a few centuries ahead of us. This is being declassified.
Yeah.
And people not paying attention to this.
Yeah.
But what did Hitler say, or the Fuhrer, they called him, what did he say was the perfect human? Tall, perfect German. Tall, blonde hair, blue eyes. Germans don't even look like that.
No.
But he was working with the group called the Vril. They doing these channeling rituals. They set him on that path to introduce him to that group right there. I suggest everybody get a book called Sounds from Another Room, written by Peter Horsley, who is a British Air Force pilot, who in this book, he explains when he met one of these Nordics.
Mm-hmm.
So the truth is indeed stranger than fiction.
Yeah.
And us as black people need to know the answers to everything, because we got the oldest DNA here.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, because in Africa, they don't call us African Americans. They call us Black Americans.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, and then you got to think about this. The transatlantic slave trade wasn't white people showing up kidnapping people, man. Those African kings sold us to them.
Mm-hmm.
CIA's fake animals. In the 1970s, the CIA developed what they called the Insectothopter, which was a drone the size of a dragonfly and hand-painted to look like one. It was kept secret until December 2003, when it was revealed to the public at the CIA Museum, and the project was abandoned because it was too difficult to fly in crosswinds. Another similar project was the AeroVironment Nano Hummingbird, created with specifications given by the Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. These weren't the only times they used animals or crafted fake animals to spy on their enemies. During the Cold War, they developed a camera so light that it could be carried by pigeons in order to take aerial photos, and they even trained some of these pigeons to drop eavesdropping devices onto window ledges. However, despite successfully placing some of these devices, no usable audio was captured from them. They even used fake fish to secretly check water samples for the presence of nuclear runoff or other suspicious substances.
Top 10 conspiracy.
Okay, here are my top 2 conspiracy.
Whoever, then we see David Grush, congressional whistleblower.
This is going to be an hour-long video on some of the most major
Can't comment on none of this. I can't comment on none of this. But so It'll be AI.
Do you remember learning that Germany blew up the Statue of Liberty? Yeah, me neither. Yeah, so in 1916, one of the defining reasons why the United States entered World War I is actually because Germany attacked the Statue of Liberty, and 7 people died, hundreds were injured, and it caused hundreds of millions of dollars of damage.
That was Hiroshima.
Do you remember learning that? To this day, we still commemorate Oklahoma City, Pearl Harbor, 9/11. We remember every attack that's ever happened on U.S. soil, but somehow this attack on the Statue of Liberty that brought us into World War I just wasn't taught in school, and I would say 99% of the public has never heard of it. Is an example of the U.S. education system being trash, or is this another Mandela effect, where we've just entered a timeline where things have happened that nobody remembers? And those renovations that took place on the Torch, that wasn't just because. I remember the renovations that happened in like the 70s and 80s. You thought it was just because? No, those renovations were because of this attack. Like, how crazy is that?
Yo, the glitter conspiracy is a rabbit hole you are not ready for.
Based on the tremendous interest shown, I will be directing the Secretary of War and other relevant departments and agencies to begin the process of identifying and releasing government files related to alien and extraterrestrial life, unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, and unidentified flying objects, UFO, and any and all other information connected to these highly complex but extremely interesting and important matters. God bless America. Okay, let's break that down a bit. That is a public directive statement about identifying and releasing government files related to UAPs, UFOs, and extraterrestrial life. I have not yet seen an executive order number or formal declassification memo attached. That does matter. If this becomes formal policy, it would trigger an interagency review process. And that means that intelligence communities have to coordinate classification audits and national security exemptions. That process is slow and selective, but it's the beginning.
Much of what you're about to see has never been public before. The Pentagon now releasing another batch of its so-called UFO files after they were declassified by President Trump. And this morning, we got an exclusive first look.
This morning, the GMA exclusive, more than 50 videos and other documents detailing strange objects in the sky, many of which the military can't explain, released in the second batch of the Pentagon's so-called UFO files. Inside, never-before-seen video like this from 2024, the Coast Guard picking up this object as it flew near a plane over the southeastern U.S., and this taken by the U.S. military over Syria in 2021, following an unidentified object before it suddenly speeds off. The service member who submitted the video labeling it instant acceleration. Others seen flying in apparent formation. All part of over 200 files released so far detailing what the military officially calls unidentified anomalous phenomena, or UAP, better known as UFOs, long an object.
Good evening, America. Tonight, we address a story that has been clouded in secrecy. We've attempted multiple times to bring you details about an ongoing federal investigation involving a New York resident named Fitz. However, the Pentagon and the Department of Homeland Security have denied us permission to report in full. What we can confirm is that Fitz was present at the Bayside Marketplace on January 1st, where he allegedly witnessed something classified. He captured footage of the event, and that footage, we are told, is of critical importance. As a result, he's missing, his whereabouts unknown. following weeks of surveillance and federal interest. The government has refused to release any further information, and we are being warned not to press deeper. But the American people have the right to know why a citizen, an ordinary witness, has disappeared. What is the government hiding? We will continue to push for answers despite the barriers we face. This is about more than one man. It's about transparency and accountability. Thank you for joining us. We will keep you informed as this story.
Now, I think, this is my own personal opinion, I think this next clip is not AI.
Story develops.
Guys, I don't have much time, so I just wanted to show you a clip.
You don't have the technology to do it. VHS tape. People.
Bro, everyone's going this way. Yo, what is that?
Do you have an update on the UFO files and what might be, when we're going to be seeing those?
Well, I think we're going to be releasing as much as we can in the near future. For some reason, and I guess it's just a reason that's been in the minds of people for a long time, that is such, they want to find out about the UFOs and anything having to do with UFO or related material, and we're going to be releasing a lot of things that we have. And I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people. I've interviewed people, my first term primarily, but I interviewed some pilots, very solid people, and they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe.
He said, Tim, they're real. And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess.
You're going to see things that you've never seen in this country before.
The Trump administration releasing a batch of never-seen-before UFO files, as the president promised.
And they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe.
He said, Tim, they're real. And that's the last thing he said to me. That'll be the title of my book, I guess.
Aliens, sir. There's no such thing as aliens.
That's not quite true.
Sir?
A year ago, a UFO crash landed in New Mexico. A body may have been recovered.
May have been.
Well, there was a terrible mix-up. It was Thanksgiving. The body was sent down to the kitchen. They shoved stuffing up its ass, and we ate it at a state dinner. That's the last I saw of it. Go scratch that. There were some sandwiches made the next day.
Mr. President, listen to me carefully.
Agent Thompson.
Back away from that window.
What, did I forget to put my pants on again?
No, sir. It's just a feeling I've been having since the news about the aliens. Something's not right.
I know what you mean. It's like that feeling that something's not right. What is it?
Some old Tupac, sir.
All eyes on me. Hey, this shit is banging.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, recording. Stay on order zone. us you traveled, and I quote, thousands of light years to get here. Yes. Tell us the truth or the word will never be here. It is truth. I shall not show no future. To travel in time is to travel in space. Or substation to oceans. So I take it aliens took over our future, right? No. So you're human. Okay, so you evolved from us. Yes. So what are you doing here now?
It is time for President Trump to tell the world the truth about UAP and UFOs. And if anybody's can and will do it, it would be him.
One of the most unconventional people in the entire UFO disclosure ecosystem, covered in tattoos, a former artist, a former martial artist, but he's at the center of it all. This documentary, Sleeping Dog, that I just watched, this documentary provoked the release today of 2 of the videos that were first seen in the documentary, meaning the rest of it's probably real too. Jeremy Corbell, it's great to have you on. If this is real disclosure, what are we getting from the War Department here? What is this?
Right. So is this real disclosure? We've had people testify. It is time for President Trump to tell the world the truth about UAP and UFOs. And if anybody's can and will do it, it would be him.
One of the most unconventional people in the entire UFO disclosure ecosystem, covered in tattoos, a former artist, a former martial artist, but he's at the center of it all. This documentary, Sleeping Dog, that I just watched, this documentary provoked the release today of 2 of the videos that were first seen in the documentary, meaning the rest of it's probably real too. Jeremy Corbell, it's great to have you on. If this is real disclosure, what are we getting from the War Department here? What is this?
Right. So is this real disclosure? We've had people testify with their hand up to God and country that not just UFOs are real, that we have been reverse engineering non-human intelligence craft, that we have bodies, alien bodies. I don't know how else to say it. They call it biologics, just to keep it kind of more open. At least we have the pilots that are non-human of this craft. And if that is true, if what people risk to be able to say to the American public and to Congress under oath that this is all true, like David Grush, Dylan Borland, Matthew Brown, etc., right? Then what we need to know now is, what are the real questions? What are we being shown? We're being shown parts, as you said, and that this is fact, that in the documentary Sleeping Dog, we did a little provocation. We showed a little bit of some tiny things that, as journalist George Knapp and I will be putting out to the public.
We've got some breaking news. The Department of War has just released the second tranche of UFO/UAP files. I have already started digging, and at first glance, there are a number of new documents in here and new material in this particular release. There's stuff that's connected to the CIA, more NASA, Department of Energy, which is something I'm personally interested in digging into more in here. There also appears to be additional video footage, some of which people have not seen, some of which we have. Yes, most of it seems to come from that same familiar military infrared surveillance ecosystem that I already know people are going to comment on, and that's fair. But progress is still progress. Because whether or not these are the platforms people want to see, more official material entering the public domain, it matters, right? But the real work does continue for all of us. We need to look for context, cross-reference. We need to trace origins. We need to look for what's actually really new. So I will be going through these files carefully, and I'll be posting more follow-up breakdowns as I find anything worth serious attention.
The President of the United States, a congresswoman, and a former intelligence official are all saying the exact same thing right now. UFO files are supposed to be coming, and they include things that you would not believe. Okay. So President Trump went on camera just 2 days ago, and he basically said that he has personally seen UFO evidence, and that it includes, direct quote, things that you wouldn't believe.
They want to find out about the UFOs, and anything having to do with UFO or related material. And we're going to be releasing a lot of things from.
So what does that mean? He then said that disclosure is coming very, very soon and that he already signed an executive order back in February forcing every single agency to hand over what they have. Give it to me. But he's actually not even the only one saying this right now, because the chairwoman of the House UFO Task Force just came out of a classified briefing and said that she saw evidence of objects that were not made by mankind. She then demanded 46 classified videos from the Pentagon by April the 14th, and then the Pentagon basically just ghosted her. So that's insane. And then on top of all of that, there's a former intelligence official who testified under oath in front of Congress. And he's saying that the files involve sentient non-human intelligence. That's a sworn government witness saying that on record. It's not a Reddit conspiracy theory. Those UFO files are supposed to be coming soon. Multiple different people have said it, and when they do, I will obviously cover it immediately. Just make sure that you are already adding me and you go ahead and add me now so you don't miss it whenever that comes out.
The fourth UAP file release is officially here. Today, the Department of War published another batch of declassified UAP material. After digging through it, I think there are a few files that deserve immediate attention. The newest release contains about 40 separate case files, and many of those, like before, include multiple pages of reports, imagery, supporting documents, briefings. I've only had time to dig through some of them, but I wanted to give you a first look at a few highlights before I start doing these deeper breakdowns. This drop offers some more archived NASA audio files, but there are also a few newly released NASA images showing what appears to be a cylindrical or cone-shaped object that was captured in low Earth orbit taken in 1996. Not sure what that is, but I will say that is interesting. There's also additional declassified briefings from the late 1940s connected to Project Sign, and Project Sign was one of the Air Force's earliest official program efforts to investigate UAP. This release also includes everybody's favorite military infrared footage. But one clip appears to show a kind of linear boomerang-shaped formation recorded over the South China Sea. This was in 2024. And another appears to show what was said to be a dark maroon object over the Atlantic from 2020. So again, this is just my first pass through the release. There is a bit more work to do. Some of these documents are much more detailed than they first appear. However, this is similar to the other releases in the way of the lack of context and data, especially with the video footage, but we will work with what we have. I will be doing individual deep dives into some of the more interesting cases over the coming days. There's definitely a few that seem to deserve a bit more attention, so stay tuned.
I have two questions, one for you. President Trump asked you work to expand the Abraham Accord.
Woo! That was a long trip. But today, yeah, we start going off the topic towards the end when we start getting into like UFO files and, you know, what's been released, what haven't been released. I want to say one thing about all this. It's not up to me for you all to believe anything what you see or hear that may be present or may be past. It's not up to me for you all to believe nothing. You all have your own discernment. You guys have your own mind. And you're open to comment and think what you want to think. So I like for us to be as a group of like-minded individuals. And I actually read the comments. I be wanting to know what you all have to say about these topics, because it's sometimes, you know, it's good to know that if someone says something like, I was reading the comments today and someone was like, what they had said, oh, how can you put God in a box to say that he's a male or he's a female or whatever. It's the creator. It's without form. It's a spirit. He doesn't have any type of shape. He doesn't have any type of form. You can't, put conscience into a specific chart. Like everything is not chartable, and it's just I don't care how intelligent someone tries to sound when they're trying to articulate the creator by saying God's a woman or God's a man. I think God is just a consciousness that is within us that like it's almost like Transformers when they had that spark, the all spark. It's just that spark of life. And what you choose to do with your spark while you're here defines who you are, or it defines who you're not. So, with that said, I want you all to just continue to build and elevate and grow. Be great to one another. Be good to one another. You see someone hungry on the street, don't worry if they're going to go and buy alcohol or go and use drugs or whatever you give them. Just do it out of the goodness of your heart. As long as your heart is in the right place, that's all that matters. What they choose to do with it, that's none of your concern. Same when I drop the information about what I teach. What people choose to do with it, that somewhat is my concern. But at the end of the day, time reveals all. Someone actually told me in my DM that, I just wanted to get up under you and see what you had going on. And they got upset because I would not pull up on them and meet them in person. I don't pull up on anybody and meet anybody in person. I'm not a social type of person. Even when I had my record label, I still was a distant type person. Like I still didn't like to have the cameras on me or be all on, like what you guys say, all in the videos, dancing. That was never me. I always want to step back, let everybody else enjoy it. And, I feed off the gratitude. So I'm going to leave you all with this. What you are. And what you're not, you will never be. Don't let anybody come into your sacred space and disturb your peace. There will be many predators that will try to force their lives on you. There will be many predators that will try to shrink your life so they can step into your shoes or be closer to you. Always keep the Creator first and always pray every day. Don't pray on your feet. Get down on your hands and knees and say thank you. And it's best how I do as I put my house shoes all the way up under the bed before I go to sleep. That way, when I wake up in the morning, I have a reason to go ahead and pray while I'm getting my house shoes. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's one way for you to know that your prayer is sincere. All right. Thank y'all.